Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solar Pedal Collective, where we rise through shared light. I'm Ryan Charles York. Great having you here. I don't know why I had a hard time just trying to say my name, but so today, I know my videos have started to get fewer and fewer in succinction. Oh my gosh, I can't even think. It's early, and there's a lot going on. So less. I'm putting out less videos. Let's go with that. By the way, if you find yourself coming back to my content and you enjoy it in any way and you want to support the channel or me, first off, thank you so very much for any likes, subscribes, or any comments that you give of your experiences or anything of that nature. I very much want to turn this it's not a hobby to me. This is actually like what I'm being told, I'm being trained, or I'm being taught, not trained, I'm being taught. Let's see. Sorry, I'm gonna move the camera here. I think it'll work better like that. There we go. Sorry, I'm using my phone because I am at work. Back there. Sorry, tour. Let's do a tour. So I actually had, with the help of ChatGPT, do kind of like a ritual that I do every morning, affirming my connection to Ra and the universal consciousness, because it is way more than that. And then I do have my Prison Tarot deck, and we will kind of be doing either splitting the deck or drawing a card, because whenever I feel compelled to do it, because I feel like I'm being told I should have this out for when I want to like split the deck. The Sun card, instantaneously. So, and if you've watched any of my previous videos, the Sun card with me is very specific. It's more than just clarity. It's more than what people have interpreted it with the tarot or tarot. But the Sun card for me is because I very much have gotten a ton of synchronicities that I am of Ra's lineage, that I'm Ra reborn, and even more so that I am all gods, all goddesses in one source. So I will admit that has been a very hard thing to swallow, because who am I, right? But that's not what this video is about. This video is about you, the viewer. No, it's I felt compelled to do a video today just because I'm being told like I need to get my energy into another video so it can be out, because somebody needs to watch this video at some point in time in their life. It doesn't mean now. It's a timeless video, so it doesn't mean now. It could mean in the future, or weirdly, since time is not linear, it could be in the past. And before you try to hurt your brain thinking about that, don't, because there's a lot. There's a lot that you kind of need to understand spiritually for you to understand that I am doing a recording in 2025. Somebody in the past can actually see it, because I'm not talking about the current reality, the current timeline that I am in. Because if you think about it in a multiverse aspect, where it's universe, they're all lined up and compacted together, and it looks like a slideshow. They're all different timelines. Timelines work the same way. So like, here we go. I can use my hands yet again. So back to the same thing. So two sheets, two universes next to each other. You see my fingers? You see kind of how they form like tunnels how it like straight on, it would look like tunnels. Think of those as timelines. And the timelines are stacked on top of each other. So timelines can see into other timelines, and not every timeline and every place on the timeline is the same. So like we are in 2025, since time is not linear, let's say between my pinkies and my ring fingers, that's 2025. The next one up would be a different timeline. Let's say they're in the 1800s, in the same relative location in that timeline. So that's how you got to think about it. So I just save you the trouble of trying to make your head hurt. There is a lot of energy happening. There's a lot cosmically happening. I very much try to stay away from like the news, try to stay away from politics, because it's very toxic. It's being controlled by much lower vibrational beings, and global politics and the news right now is being heavily influenced by the lower vibrational beings, the beings who essentially want to continue to churn or run the fear machine. Because fear is the easiest way to control a person. It's the easiest way to control a consciousness, is fear. Because all it takes is one seed of doubt. That's all it takes. One seed of doubt planted in your consciousness, and it can grow and fester. Whereas you can't say the same thing about joy. You can't say the same thing about hope. Yes, you can plant the seed of hope, and the seed of hope will grow. And it takes a lot longer for it to grow because of how our environment is right now. Because fear is so broadly broadcasted that it stifles nutrients for other emotions. And yes, emotions grow. Emotions are living things. If you thought that your anger, you thought your joy, you thought your love, you thought your sorrow were just emotions, things that you felt, just things, you are sorely mistaken. Emotions are living things. They are with you your entire life. You grow them. You nourish them. You breed them. Your emotions are as big as you allowed them to become. So if you did not prune, if you did not take care of your anger, your rage, your sorrow, your fear, they grow out of control. Same with joy, same with love. Those can actually grow out of control. But it's a lot easier to control the positive ones, if that makes sense. Because, or I shouldn't say it's a lot easier to control, the positive ones grow a lot slower because there is a lot less feeding it. It's hard to feed hope when it's hard to see hope in the world. And yet, our environment is so filled with fear, so filled with anger, so filled with rage, so filled with hate, that it's almost impossible to keep up with those emotions, to make sure that they're in check, to make sure they don't get overgrown and out of control. And that's what they want. So it's, you need to look at everything that you experience in this reality as a human being through this body. You need to look at everything you experience as a living thing. And I'm not saying like this card is a living card. It's not, this technically is not real. But in this reality, we would consider this an inanimate object. It's not a living thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a physical representation of something. I'm talking about something that you experience. Like grabbing this box. I am not experiencing the box. I am experiencing the sensation of holding this box. The sensation is what I'm talking about. The experience you feel through your body and registering in your brain, in your mind. That's a living thing. That sensation was a living thing. I had to grow that. I had to develop that throughout my life. So why wouldn't people think the same thing about their emotions? They're living things. From the moment, quite literally, from the moment you are conceived, you experience emotions. In the womb, you experience emotions. How could you not? You are living inside of another being. You feel their emotions. How could you not feel emotions inside the womb? See what I'm saying? So it's rethinking your brain that way. So I'm being told to shuffle this a couple times and then to split the deck. So we're gonna do some shuffles here. So we already got the Sun card right at the very beginning. That was kind of interesting. And then we got the Novice of Water Drops, which is learning to trust your abilities. That's how I take it with this deck. There's clouds, there's raindrops, there's emeralds. So like emeralds is pentacles. Raindrops, I think, is wands. No, not pentacles. Is it pentacles? Emeralds is yeah. No, raindrops is cups. And clouds is wands. That's, I think. I would have to look. So, we just shuffled a little bit. We're going to split the deck here. Ace of Gems. So, either, and these could be the, if you've ever seen or ever heard of the movie, it's an old movie, Johnny Mnemonic, where like those are, the images are essentially a key. So we had the Sun card, we had the Novice of Raindrops, and now the Ace of Gems. Oh no, the Ace. It was the Ace of Raindrops and the Ace of Gems. Yeah. So take those cards kind of like as it being a code or like a password or a key. And so yeah, it'll help register in your consciousness. So when you start thinking of it, you'll think bing, you'll see the card as you're thinking it. So, and that's I don't know why. That's what I'm being told. That's how I need to explain it. But yeah, so it's just things that are going on in the world today are interesting. If you would have told me 20 years ago that, hey, you know what? All that crazy shit about like ghosts and aliens and everything, it's gonna fucking explode. Especially aliens. Aliens, in 20 years, you're gonna start seeing some crazy shit. I guarantee you 20 years ago, you would have been put in an insane asylum and you would have been disappeared or considered crazy and homeless. So, but now it's commonplace. It's commonplace to hear something about aliens or UFOs or ghosts daily, which is weird. It's weird because there was such a stigmatism about them as I was growing up that it doesn't make sense that it went from like a stigmatism to, hey, this is mainstream. Like I wouldn't have called that. I wouldn't have called that in 100 years. And then just the amount of disinformation, the amount of false claims, the amount of just fake that is out there is grotesquely insane. It's insane. Like, I understand wanting to be mystified and entertained, but why fake it to that extent, kind of a thing? Why? You know? Because essentially in faking it, if you're faking it to essentially make financial gain, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, faking it, you're doing the wrong thing for the wrong reason. There you go. Like I would rather people fully explore like paranormal and not find shit. And ultimately I think that's the thing, is like paranormal investigation is so hit or miss because people don't understand energy, people don't understand vibration, people don't understand ley lines, people don't understand resonating, like a resonating soul, or an after image of something. Like if something really, really painful, really bad, or really joyful happens, it leaves an imprint in the space. And if the conditions are right, that reenacts. So it's, people don't understand that ghosts aren't there for your entertainment. And it's not like they are not conscious. It's not like they are like, it's not like they are mechanical. Not like they don't understand. They still experience emotions. And it's the one emotion that is keeping them attached to this world, that like the strongest emotion, they experience that all the time. And so it's incredibly disrespectful. Even the paranormal investigators that say thank you, that try to show the utmost respect, it is still incredibly disrespectful. Because who are you, a complete stranger, to walk into somebody else's space and then expect them to perform by asking them questions, by trying to have a conversation with them, without even trying to open the dialogue before you got into this? And I'm not talking about like a Ouija board. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about your energy needs to have time to express itself to the space. So the energy of the space can either choose to accept you or reject you. And what happens a lot of times, and why people sometimes get hurt, is because they do not give the space that respect. They walk in to this space, they walk in with their energy that is loud, that is incredibly disruptive. and they don't give the energy that is currently in that space time to either accept it or reject it. And so when something loud and boisterous comes into that space, all of a sudden, like, all the energy just goes crazy, and people can get hurt because they are not welcomed. Because even though they are trying to show the utmost respect for the space, they didn't do the very basic thing that they needed to, which is to acclimate your energy to the space. It's that simple. Everything you do, you need to allow your energy time to acclimate to it. And that's with anything. That's with your job. That's with your home life. That's with anything. You have to give your energy, you have to give your body time. And that's one of the reasons why they say, like, if you're going to actually do a paranormal investigation, you need to be there for a fortnight. What is it, like 14 days, 12 days, 14 days, something like that? A cycle of the moon is what they say, I think. So a month. I can't. My brain is still foggy. I don't know the specifics. Fortnite is 14 days, right? Something like that. But that's giving your energy time to acclimate to the space, and it's giving the space time to acclimate to your energy. Because if you want things to happen in a non-violent way, you need to show respect where you don't even know where you need to show respect. I know that doesn't make sense. Like, you need to be consciously aware and try to have the feeling of wanting to give respect in your energy when you enter a space that you want to investigate. If you want the negative entities in that space to not bother you, you need to give the space time to acclimate to your energy. If you want the positive beings or entities that are in that space to interact with you, you need to give that space time. Because a lot of the times, negative entities respond to aggressive actions. And your energy just being pushed into that space is the ultimate aggressive action for them, because that's how they perceive things, is through energy, through vibration. So I don't know who needed to hear that. Apparently, like, paranormal investigators needed to hear that. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, things with like UFOs and aliens too. There's a lot happening in that space as well. Like 3i Atlas, I think there's, at the tail end of this year, there's like 7 or 8 comets going through the inner ring of our solar system. And then there's 3i Atlas, which is showing a lot of unique characteristics that are making it, like, to say that it's a comet, it's not a comet. 3i Atlas is not what people are going to think it is. It is absolutely artificial in nature. But it doesn't feel harmful. It doesn't feel like the intent that is radiating from it. It doesn't feel negative. It doesn't feel malicious. But in all fairness, we are only aware, and our energy is only aware of emotions that we've experienced through our life. So, like malicious, benevolent, joy, anger, fear, all that is not necessarily the same way that other beings essentially feel. So just because I, and right now, because I'm reaching out to it, just because I don't feel any malicious intent doesn't necessarily mean there isn't malicious intent, if that makes sense. It's just how we perceive malicious. That's not coming from 3i, or yeah, 3i Atlas. So it'll be interesting. I think we are not. Well, I know we are not. Not just I think. I know we are not prepared for what is going to be coming. I know we're not prepared because we are still very much a species that fears. Like if you think about it, if you think about this, we have feared that there is other life than our own. But that doesn't make sense. I would fear that there is no other life outside of our planet. That's what I would fear. Like knowing that there are other beings, knowing that there are other entities, there are other dimensions, there are other universes. When I was younger, didn't know any of that. But just the sheer fact of it all. I understood the expanse of the universe. I understood that we have our planet, we have our solar system, we have our galaxy, and then so on. And there's multiple galaxies, etc., etc. $20 years ago, they said it was scientific fact because we had never seen any proof of life outside of our planet. So they're like, no, there's no alien life. Nothing exists outside of us. How fucking naive. How naive for us to think that on this rock, in this system, in this galaxy, in the known and unknown universe, we are the only planet with not just intelligent life, but life. That doesn't make sense. The sheer calculable number of how improbable that is 100%. It is completely improbable that we are the only life in known existence. It's impossible. Not improbable. It is impossible. And especially now that we found bacteria on our own planet that lives in a environment that has no oxygen or very, very minimal oxygen. Again, how could we think? How could we think that we are the only beings in existence? And so that's kind of one reason why I'm okay with the misinformation for like UFOs and things like that, seeing orbs, seeing UFOs, UAPs, is because it's making people more aware, but also at the same time those who are running the fear machine are using that narrative and are using, I know this is kind of like a conspiracy theory, like the Hollywood narrative, where it's showing every time that we have an alien encounter, it's either us or them, kind of a thing, where it's always aggression. They want to come take the resources of our planet, etc., etc. And so, like, they're trying from the Hollywood standpoint to fuel that fear machine. So when contact is made, we are immediately in a stance of fear. And that's what they want, because they want us to attack them and get annihilated. That's what they want. Because why else? Why else run that? Why else run that narrative? Why else? Being told to split the deck. Ooh. Oh, that's right. Lightning. Lightning is wands. I forgot about lightning. What's clouds then? Because in like normal tarot, you have pentacles, you have cups, and you have wands, right? This deck has raindrops, clouds, and lightning, right? Or no, lightning and gems. So am I missing something in the normal tarot? I don't know. But it was the 9 of lightning, which is depicted with a foot with a Hermes shoe and lightning around it, which usually means, or I interpret it as like you are using your ability and you are accelerating. Your ability is accelerating or growing. So this will be the last one. I'm told to split the deck 3 times. So I'll do it here so you can see it. So 1, 2, 3. Ugh. Oh, we got 10 of lightning. Burden. So I interpret that. So this one, the 10 of lightning, it's like an overwhelming power, almost like a burden. But I usually don't see that. It's an overwhelming power. Like there's so much, it's overwhelming. There's so much happening, it's overwhelming. All right, and the second split. The Master of Raindrops. So this one is, like it says emotional maturity, but I see this as, like, I do interpret raindrops as like your emotion, like, and your fluidity. So mastering your ability to transition and to like use your emotions to grow. And the last one, the world. So if we were to go through the sequence of the splits, you had the 10 of lightning, which was like an overwhelming power. Then you had the Master of Raindrops, which was being able to control or being able to be in tune with your emotions and to help grow. And then the world. So if you think of it, you have, or someone has, or it could even be tied to me. So somebody has an overwhelming amount of power that will lead to you mastering your ability to grow that power and get it to where it's no longer overflowing. and it will help change the world. Not necessarily like the whole world, but it could be your world. It could be my world. I think it'll help change the world. It'll help change the perspective. So, I hope you enjoyed the information today. Kind of went off on a little rant. The cards kind of helped, but choices. 7 raindrops. I know I said that was going to be the last one, but I was just splitting. I wasn't told to split. So, I'm going to leave it there. If any of this resonates with you, don't hesitate to leave a comment. You can also, if you didn't know, if you're new to this thing called YouTube, you could hit the like and subscribe button. It's free. Lets me know that you're enjoying my content and I can move forward. So, thank you so very much. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.